Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be looking at how we can use the pre-baked maps and the low definition geo to create an iris. I'm going to do this in Maya. So I'm going to import my geo and I'm going to add an AI standard surface. On my low def geo I'm going to go into the shape, to the Arnold properties, scroll down, go into subdivision and change it to cat clock, and I like to put 3 iterations for this example. In displacement attributes, the scalar 0 value should be 0.214, which is the neutral grey position, and we'll play with the height afterwards. If I open my hypershade, I'm going to select my AI standard surface and I'm going to display it in my hypershade. From here what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in my height.exr and drop in the colour I want. Bearing in mind the colour needs to be in sRGB and the height in raw format. All I have to do now, go into my AI standard surface, go into the shader group and drop the displacement into the displacement material slot. Once I've done this, I'm going to minimise my hypershade and I'm going to open up the Arnold render view. Now I've set up a little lighting scene, it's very simple. I'm going to show you what this does instantly. So it's just going to convert the textures. And as you can see, it blows up. We're going to have to change the height values to make this a lot more appealing. So I'm going to minimize my Arnold render view, go back into my shape and change the height to around 0.1. I'm going to open back up my Arnold render view, refresh the render view, and as we can see we have a nice mesh that's been created. I invite you to play around with the values of the height to get what you want. Once you're satisfied with the height values, I'm now going to show you how to use the colour maps to shade your iris. So grab your map, plug it into the subsurface colour, make sure you have no weight on your base colour and you have your subsurface set to 1. I like to use random walk v2, and in the radius I'm going to minimize this to a minimum, make it a shade of blue, change the scale value and click play. It's going to convert my albedo texture and then show me what I've got. I'm going to remove the specular from this, and as you can see we have a shaded brown iris. Now, there are other ways to shade the iris, which we'll get into a more complex video later on, using the ID maps. These ID maps will enable us to create a fully procedural-based system shading the iris. For now, this is an introduction video on how to shade the iris using the basic maps that we have provided. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one.